So when I demonstrate this afternoon, and maybe Tim knows the time and place, I will show you how to find the radiation in your water. You can do it two ways. You can test for it with this audio oscillator, and that will tell you what element you have. And if you had a test substance called polonium, which is just a stack of cigarette boxes, maybe about six cigarette boxes on top of each other to make sure you have a good strong test substance, you will find it is in the laundry bleach water and not in the good water. And that holds up 100% of the time. I know that you would like to ask questions, but I'm afraid to give you a minute. How about at the end? Oh, all right. All right. I had not done a good job on the heavy metal set because there were so many, altogether about 70 to do. And I started after each one laboriously until I couldn't find one. Out of all of the 70 that I had, I couldn't find one. But then this radioactivity input came into me, and I thought, well, maybe it's a radioactive item. Just one of those things that comes to your mind and you wonder how you could possibly test for that. Well, I do have some helpers out there, and I got all kinds of things. An old watch with radium in the dial, and a gas mantle lamp. The gas mantle, which is made of a kind of a cloth, but it is actually thorium, which is radioactive. So I collected about 5 or 6 different things and used them as approximate test standards, and the whole world opened up. Not only our water is radioactive, the filters that are used to clean your water are radioactive. The softener salt you're using to soften the water are so radioactive, and I have a sample with me to show you later on, is that when the background is around 400 to 450, the softener salt is over 7,000. So we are drinking and eating high doses of radioactivity. And food that is fertilized, comes from fertilized fields, is radioactive. And that is an item that you can test yourself with this very thing. I have here, which I can show you later, a radioactive grapefruit, radioactive strawberries, radioactive raisins, all of those big commercial crops that require phosphate fertilizing. Because now I wanted to know how it got in there. Why is it in this laundry bleach water and not in the other? There has to be a reason. I'm still on that part of the project, but we're getting closer. Fertilizer being so high made me think it could be coming from the phosphate mines in Florida or some other place where they make so much fertilizer. And I then found on the internet internet already a lot of information on this. It is indeed very radioactive. In fact, they have to separate out the most radioactive part and stockpile it. There is a possibility that our fluoridation chemicals used that have fluoride in them, which I have not done yet, I've only done a few, that could be a source. We don't know the actual sources yet, but once you're aware of the problem, and once you start using this to help you find it, I think we'll find it. And I'm hoping that you'll be in touch with me and be able to add to my knowledge as fast as you get it. Time's wasting for us because our immunity is going down. Down, 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 and nobody is paying attention to it. The ranges are just being changed. Another range change has gone on recently. So now it's not even abnormal to have a count as low as 4,000, I think, for a white count. And that's very, very tragic for our species. Now, I want to depart from the usual subject of cancer into wellness. People who are I'm going to summarize first what the mechanism is for cancer after I found the radioactive element in the water that is causing the cancer. After I had these test substances, I found that one of them, polonium, was 100% present. And as soon as we took it out, the cancer indicator that I use, which is orthophosphotyrosine, was gone. So if a person came with cancer, they would have, of course, the orthophosphotyrosine in a number of organs besides the one that had been clinically found. And there was always polonium there. Other people would have radioactivity in them, but not polonium if they didn't have cancer. I also talked about cerium yesterday. Cerium is part of the family of elements called lanthanides, which I have discussed in my books in the past. They affect our DNA, and anything that affects our DNA is very, very important. Lanthanides are paramagnetic. They have a magnetic property, which interested me very much because I think that we partly are controlled by magnetic fields going around the Earth. I believe they control our DNA timing, and I have those experiments in my lab manual so that anybody could repeat them. And I did find, perhaps by accident, that the polonium does not act alone. Because we all get some polonium, whether we're drinking that bad water or not. Up from the ground comes radon, and we all get some of that. Some of us a lot more than others. Lung cancer cases usually have a large amount of radon in their homes. So they're breathing in radon, and radon is radioactive, so they would be swallowing that and breathing it in, and it would be getting stuck in certain places. And then it decays. A radioactive substance decays. The nucleus breaks up. And then then you have a different element It's given a different name, and it produces radiation. The new element produces radiation again. And in the handout, it might be the last page, you will see something called the radon decay series. You can see that the radon decays into maybe bismuth, and that's radioactive bismuth. The radioactive bismuth decays into radioactive lead, not ordinary lead, so that when this lead goes to your bones, which is where lead likes to go, you have your bones full of radioactive lead, which is certainly going to be destroying the bone marrow besides the bone. And that radioactive lead decays into maybe another uranium. All this originates from the uranium rock underneath the ground, and because we live on top of that we get it into our homes. And the radioactive uranium could lead to thorium, which we made our gas mantles from in long days ago. But I got a mantle from Mexico, which was still highly radioactive, way up there, whereas the US varieties is much closer to the background.